Hi, my name is Hilma Volk and I've been a massage therapist since 1991. And the techniques I've developed for my course are techniques that I started developing for myself. Because carpal tunnel syndrome is a hazard for massage therapists, and my course is not just about carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome is when there's tightness in the carpal tunnel area, which is here. The carpal tunnel is a kind of a ditch that's lined by carpal bones, which are wrist bones, and there's a strap that goes across, which is a very hard strap called the carpal tunnel ligament, and it's got a few other names too. And through there is 9 flexor tendons. Flexors are the tendons that make you close your fist and fingers, and the median nerve. And if that's pinched off, you'll have numbness in the thumb, this finger, that finger, and part of that finger. Numbness, tingling, pain, whatever, or other sensations. The problem is that most doctors only look at the carpal tunnel area if there's a problem. And that's a mistake. Now, if you look on the internet for treatment for carpal tunnel syndrome, a lot of them will say the same thing because they copycat each other, and many doctors will copycat the same thing. One thing they'll say is use anti-inflammatory drugs. Now, many doctors will also say use anti-inflammatory drugs, but those doctors in the know that in the long run that'll make your problem worse, and I'll discuss that in my course. And it's not just because some of these drugs have side effects like damaging the liver or damaging the stomach or whatever. It's actually that because it can actually make the problem right there worse in the long run. In the short run, sure, it feels better. In the long run, worse. Another thing they'll suggest is wrist splints at night. And these can be actually helpful for people because it keeps your forearm and the back of your hands in a straight line so that when you're unconscious, basically you're unconscious, when you're sleeping, so your hands don't go flop around like this. And anytime you've got a bend in your elbow, it puts more pinching on the nerve and makes your hands feel worse when you're sleeping, and you wake up with numb hands, and it may keep you awake all night. So this will make you feel better, but really, does this solve your problem in the long run? Because it gives you a false sense that you're getting better. Because you don't have the problems at night, you think, well, your problem's getting better, but if you're not doing anything to make your problem better besides this, eventually it's just going to keep accumulating, and these things work slowly. Carpal tunnel syndrome develops over years usually. Very seldom does it develop in just months. It develops over years and years and years and years. And finally, when you do feel the pain and the numbness and tingling, it's because it's been accumulating over a long period of time. Another thing they'll recommend is cortisone shots. And cortisone is very powerful. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory. It also will disintegrate things if it's repeated. So many doctors will not recommend cortisone shots in the same place more than once because it can deteriorate bone, even. It can deteriorate tendons, muscle, ligaments. So you want to be very careful of cortisone. Yeah, cortisone works and it's very powerful, but oftentimes when you have cortisone shots, the problem will come back months later sometimes, or maybe a couple years later, but almost always comes back. And the other thing they recommend is carpal tunnel surgery, which is a very risky surgery, even though they say it's just an out-call surgery and it's done, in a very short period of time, and then you go home. But about 1/3 of the time, everything works out well. 1/3 of the time, there's mixed results. Either the hand is weaker, or there's some dysfunction in the hand where it's not like a hand should be, like it was when you were a kid. And the surgeon may call it a success because your pain is gone, but there's some dysfunction in your hand. And 1/3 of the time, about 1/3 of the time, it's a failure. Either there's a screw up in the surgery, or there's infection, or more commonly, it never was carpal tunnel syndrome to begin with. Because when you have nerve pinching, it causes numbness, tingling, all that stuff. And that nerve pinching can come not just from the carpal tunnel, it can come from other areas as well. Because the forearm muscles are the ones largely moving your wrist and fingers, It's almost impossible to have true carpal tunnel syndrome without having tight forearm muscles. These tight forearm muscles can actually cause the nerve pinching. This area right here very commonly causes nerve pinching. And you get the same symptoms because your brain can't tell the difference. You feel the pain here, or you feel the numbness there, or you feel the tingling there. Or it could come from here. You got problems in your hand, might be coming from here. Or it could come from here. And how do you tell? Well, in my course I tell you how to tell. And it's not exactly accurate, but neither are most doctors' diagnoses either. And you can work on these things yourself. Now, I'm a massage therapist, and as I said, the techniques I developed to begin with were primarily for my own use. And they're massage techniques, but they're not techniques that I learned in massage school. They're ones I developed for myself. And I'm not using my hands to massage because my other hand's got problems too, okay? So I've got a no hands technique or minimum hands technique to get these problem areas without hurting your hands even worse. And let's say you don't have carpal tunnel syndrome at all. Let's say you don't even have the symptoms of carpal tunnel syndromes, but you've got a problem. Let's say you've got numbness in these two fingers. That's not carpal tunnel at all, but it's a problem. Let's say you've got pain in the thumb. That's a problem. So my course is not just about carpal tunnel syndrome, but many other causes of what's causing the pain. And it could be more than one place, and it often is, because it's not just repetitive work. It's also your posture. For example, if you're hanging over a desk, your head weighs about the same as a bowling ball. That puts tremendous stress on the back of your neck muscles. If you've had whiplash, that has caused strain on the muscles in the front of your neck and also the back, but the ones in the front of your neck almost always are causing problems even though you don't feel the pain there if you've had whiplash, and that can be causing the problem in your hands eventually. And these things can last for years if you've had whiplash. And my course can help relieve just about any of these symptoms in a very, very short period of time. How long? Well, it depends how tight your muscles are. But oftentimes, people find relief almost instantly. And if not, a few minutes, several times a day, until the problem is basically gone. And after that, just work on them once in a while because you're keeping on doing the things that you're doing. Now, if you're a grocery bagger, you may not want to bag groceries the rest of your life, but if you're a guitar player or a gardener or a knitter or whatever, you don't want to give up your hobbies because that's where your heart is. Now, you notice in my course I have a lot of videos on stretching, and you think, oh my God, it's going to take me forever to go through those. Well, that's not part of the core videos. The stretchings are just optional. I have them because people ask about stretches. But my opinion is that working directly on your muscles itself with the techniques in my core videos will help you with your problem. You may not ever need to do any stretching, and these can work very, very quickly and effectively and safely. No drugs, no surgery, no doctor bills. Woo! Hey, but if you don't take care of yourself, it's just going to get worse. And the responsibility is with you, not your doctor, not your employer, not the government, not your health insurance company. It's with you. Okay? Cool.